Welcome to Madam English YouTube channel. In this video, you will learn about a narrative text. Before that, please like, comment, and subscribe this channel. Thank you. Narrative text is a form of writing that recounts a story or a series of events, and can be either fiction or non-fiction. Examples include novels, short stories, poems, memoirs, biographies, and news stories. Purpose of the text. Narrative text is a form of writing that recounts a story or a series of events, and can be either fiction or non-fiction. Examples include novels, short stories, poems, memoirs, biographies, and news stories. Narrative texts have a beginning, middle, and end, with events arranged chronologically. They use descriptive language to create vivid mental pictures of the characters, setting, and events of the story. The structures of narrative text are orientation, complication, resolution, and coda. The orientation of a story should answer the questions of who, where, and when. It sets the stage for the story and helps identify the character and setting. Next, its complication. The three parts of a story's problem are the rising action, climax, and falling action. The rising action presents the problem, the climax is the peak of the problem and the emergence of a solution. The resolution is the part of a story where conflicts or problems introduced earlier are addressed, and characters may overcome obstacles, find solutions, or experience personal growth. Last is coda. This section appears at the end of a story, providing a summary or commentary on the characters' experiences and the impact of their actions. It helps readers to reflect on the intended message or lesson. Here are the language features of narrative text. First, using past tense. Using past tense creates sequence and helps readers follow the plot and understand event progression. Second, using adverbial of time. Time expressions aid in understanding the chronology and coherence of events in a narrative. Third, using adjectives. Adjectives modify nouns by providing more information about them, including color, shape, size, and characteristics. They help create a more vivid and detailed story in narrative text. Fourth, using noun phrases. Noun phrases in narrative texts provide more detailed descriptions, highlight specific parts of characters or settings, and explain complex ideas concisely. These are the example of narrative texts. The first one is fable. It's a story, usually with animal characters that exhibit human-like behavior, used for educational purposes. The second one is fantasy. It is a story featuring unrealistic characters and events. The third one is folk tale. It is an oral tradition, is an old story that has been passed down verbally, offering insight into a culture's customs. The fourth one is legend. It is a story based on fact about the hero. The fifth one is fairy tale. A fairy tale involves folkloric characters like fairies, goblins, and dwarves, often featuring magic or enchantments. Next, it's a myth. Its definition of an ancient story used to explain life's mysteries. After that, science fiction. Science fiction is that class of prose narrative treating of a situation that could not arise in the world we know. The last one is biography. A biography is a written record of someone else's life. Now, let's watch the example of narrative story. Then, answer the questions after the story.
King Midas and a Golden Touch.
Once there lived a kind and wealthy king named Midas. He was so obsessed with wealth that he would dream of it every night. One day, Midas saw an elderly man in the garden. He invited the man to his palace. At the palace, a young man wearing a leafy crown appeared. He was looking for the elderly man. The elderly man said to Midas, "This is Dionysus. He is a god." Dionysus said to Midas, "You've been very kind to my friend. In return, I will grant you a wish." Midas wished, "Everything I touch must turn to gold." "So be it," said Dionysus, snapping his fingers. Instantly, Midas's wooden stick turned into a gold one. Midas touched his palace, and the walls turned to dazzling gold. He felt like the richest man in the world. It was dinner time, and Midas was hungry. But when he touched his food, it turned to gold. "Oh no!" His daughter heard his cries. She ran towards Midas and hugged him. Even she turned into a golden statue. He cried for help from Dionysus. Dionysus appeared. He said, "Bathing in the river will wash away your gift." Midas stepped into the river, and his stick became wooden again. He went back to his palace. Everything was back to normal. Midas was very happy. He promised to never be greedy again.
Now, answer the question on Task 1. Number 1. What is the story about? Number 2. What is the conflict of the story? Number 3. Who was the elderly man that Midas saw in the garden? Number 4. What did Midas wish for from Dionysus? Number 5. What happened when Midas touched his palace? Number 6. Why did Midas cry out for help from Dionysus? Number 7. What did Dionysus tell Midas to do to wash away his gift? Number 8. What happened when Midas stepped into the river? Number 9. How did Midas feel after everything went back to normal? Number 10. What is the moral lesson of the story?